Okay, so today I want to talk about AI. I know. If you're like me, you're probably getting sick of this because it is talked about ad nauseum everywhere you look. Now, as much as I do love I use AI, ChatGPT, Claude, so many other tools. And I, in fact, think every serious business owner should at least understand it and should use a lot of these different tools just to see which one resonates, what they like, what they don't like. But if your first instinct is, how do I use AI to replace people in a lot of the roles that you've probably been using for years, maybe decades, depending on who you are, instead of empowering people, you may be solving the wrong problem. So that's really where I want to dive in and take a real close look at how we're using AI today. Meaning, as a home service business owner, we're always looking for ways that we can cut costs, whether it is from an AI agent for taking phone calls, making phone calls to generate revenue. Maybe that's something as simple as create a list of apartment complexes in my area, then have this AI agent call all the apartments and see if we can start doing dumpster pad cleanouts or whatever that service is. There's nothing wrong with thinking that, but where I want to caution us all is jumping on that bandwagon of saying, I'm going to use this AI agent to make the call, and all of our incoming calls when people are calling to book an appointment or ask questions. I want to have nothing but AI agents doing all those things. Here's the thing. Will you save money? Yes, of course. But I want to caution us again against going that route. And I want to show you why. I want to show you something that really jumped out at me this morning. And the reason I decided to make this video is I came across this video right here. It's a commencement speaker at UCF, University of Central Florida. And I want you to see the reaction as she is just starting her opening sentence, and before she can even finish it, she is overwhelmed with booze. I don't mean liquor.
The rise of artificial intelligence is the next industrial revolution. Oh, whoa. What happened? Okay, I struck a chord. May I finish? Only a few years ago, AI was not a factor in our lives. Okay, all right. Okay, we've got a bipolar topic here, I see. Okay, and now AI capabilities are in the palm of our hands. And oh, I love it. Passion, let's go. Okay.
Okay. So I don't know about you, but that is a stunning response from that audience. Now, maybe it's because I am that guy that is so used to it by now, been using it so much that I was even a little surprised by that. But when I think about it objectively, I shouldn't be shocked because the truth is, think about these kids that have done everything the right way. They've gone to school, they've graduated high school, and all they've heard, most of them have probably heard their whole life the importance of college. We got to get into a good school. And their parents, grandparents, whomever are paying a lot of money, saved up a lot of money, sent them to this great college. And these kids are graduating, and they have heard now for the last 2 years about AI. Think about how many of these kids went there for coding, went there to become coders and build software and apps, and maybe even do coding for robotics and these really strong futures. And then you have a whole host of others that wanted to get out and go into sales. And there's so many other jobs now, customer service, where we are already seeing where artificial intelligence is obliterating. I mean, wiping them out. We're seeing tens of thousands of coders lose their job. It seems like every month we're seeing it by the thousands, these companies that are just firing them. And I don't know how closely you guys have followed this. I've followed it very closely. I have been an early adopter of ChatGPT when it first came out. And then quite honestly, I've used so many tools. I have a immense tool stack that I use every single day. However, I've always looked at it like these are AI tools that allow me to be more efficient with my job. What I'm not interested in doing is not using humans anymore. I still have people that I work with and have worked with for years on certain projects. But if I can be more efficient personally, then that's what the objective is all about. Now, I understand the day is coming where some of even what I do, instead of me going to my circle, the people I've worked with for years, it's going to be far easier instead of hiring a copywriter and paying them $150 for a blog post or even a few blog posts. I can simply go into Chat GPT and say, hey, create this blog post, and it does it. Then there's tools now like OpenClaw and Hermes Agent, and then you've got Perplexity Computer and on and on and on. There's all these great tools you can use that will not only write the blog, but if you dare, you can give it the credentials, the access to your computer in all your different systems, your WordPress account and your CRM and your email and you name it, and it can actually go in there and build everything for you. It can actually go into your WordPress, create the page, put the blog on there, put all the CTAs on there. It can track everything for you. So if you're using Go High Level as an example, it can integrate with Go High Level and it's going to do what you would do or what you would hire someone to do. It's going to click those same buttons and set everything up and it's going to do it like magic. So I understand the appeal. I have been messing around with these tools for a long time and it in some ways is like magic. But again, there is a risk. The downside, not just that you are eliminating human jobs along the way. It's why we at Junkrader, we have refused to bring on these AI agents to answer the phone for us. Would we save a lot of money and time? Absolutely. But that's a position there where we, number one, I just don't believe in doing that. I think no matter how good that tech is, I think there's nuances of the business where you should have a human answering the call. And I don't like the idea of not hiring people to do these jobs that a human absolutely could and should do forever, in my opinion. It's really going to come down to just saving money. I get it. And maybe I'm an optimist, but I'm hoping that that day doesn't come where we just start pushing all these AI agents in the marketplace, meaning then we start pushing out all the people. And the only way that's going to happen is if there's a very concerted effort, a very focused, intentional effort not to do that. Are your profits going to take a hit? Yes. Does it mean that you're going to have higher prices than your competitors? Yes. I mean, just think if my cost to do business is when I look at my P&L and I go, man, you know what? My total cost to operate my business hypothetically is $20,000 in the month. And if I implement these changes and I get rid of this one person or these two people, or maybe it's much higher, maybe your cost to operate is $100,000 a month and you have to let go of 5 or 6 people, the money you're going to save would be tremendous. 20,000 plus that you might save per month that you then can turn around and lower your prices. But again, I believe what you're going to have is individuals, consumers out there that are going to be resolute that they would rather pay more money and do business with a company that hires people and doesn't deploy all these AI agents to do everything for them. I think if your marketing is good and you put that out there are people out there like myself that would rather do business with companies that focus on people than AI agents. So I am really curious to get your thoughts. I'd love to see comments on this. Business owners and individuals, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think about that? Again, if I know that there is a plumbing company that could come out to my house and do this work, and yet they're all about everything automation and AI everything, and they're cheaper than the next guy that comes out and says, dude, I am so against all that stuff, and here's why, but I am going to be 10, 20% higher because of that reason, because I have people doing everything, not bots and AI agents. I'm going to give him my business. Do I want to pay more? No, but I don't want to be a part of this machine that ultimately pushes people out of the workforce. And again, I believe that is the only way this thing is not going to get out of control. Now, this may be like throwing a rock into the abyss where it really doesn't matter. The abyss is so big, and that may be. And it's a sad thought. It really is, guys. And I don't want to get all crazy here in tinfoil hat, but I do think the future is a little bit scary. I think the future is very scary, in fact. I think when you think about how far the tech has come in the last 2 years, even 6 months, in the last few months, you've seen OpenClaw come out, then you've seen Hermes Agent come out, you've got Perplexity Computer that's out, you've got Claude Design. These things have happened in the last year as far as really on a wholesale level, the adoption, the mass adoption. And think of the impact it's having. You have people that have been doing graphic design 20 plus years, web design, you name it, and they are using these tools and going, this is better than what I could produce. Even if it's not as good, let's just say it's close. The fact that it can be done in minutes at a fraction of the cost is what's really getting people. And I understand it. And that's why it is scary because it's not going to stop. If we were to stop, I've heard people say, let's just unplug it. Well, China's not going to just unplug it. And other nations are not going to just unplug it. They're going to keep going no matter what we do. So we do have to stay in this race, but we do need safety measures and protocols in place that at least mitigate some of the dangers that lie ahead, and there are a lot of them. Back to my earlier point, they've done everything right. They went to a good school, high school, they graduated top of their class, they got great grades, they went to a great college, and they thought they were going to get out of school and get a great job as a coder, graphic designer, whatever that thing was, that position was, only to now find out in the last couple of years, hey, you're getting into a career field that is getting obliterated. And how many careers are safe today? I mean, you're seeing now AI coming out in the classroom. In other countries, they've already introduced these bots, these robots that are teaching the class. You have such advanced technology. How long before that really starts permeating virtually every industry, whether it's teachers, accountants, project managers, the list goes on and on and on. So I think there's a human to human connection that will always be pervasive. The question is to what extent? I don't know. I don't know, but it is scary. So give me your thoughts. Love to hear from you. I can tell you, as a home service business here at Junk Raider, we've been doing this for over 8 years. We've had the opportunity to implement all kinds of AI tools, and we use them very sparingly. We use them to make ourselves more efficient in the day so that we can get more done, but we're not using them to replace everyone. So I hope you guys feel the same way. I'd love to hear what tools you're using and how you're using them and what difference have they made. Is there a measurable, result when you look at the metrics of how it's impacted you? What are those? What are those things that you're looking at that you can say definitively, I am more productive today. I'm doing better work, better quality work than I was before. And maybe some of you would say, maybe a lot of you, maybe most of you would say, I'm using so many tools. I don't use people anymore. I don't have to use my graphic designer anymore. I don't have to use attorneys anymore. I know we were paying, that's a great example. We were paying $4.50 an hour for a really top tier attorney here in Charlotte when we needed something, which wasn't that often, but it was still an expensive, very good attorney. I can't even tell you the last time. It's probably been 2.5 to 3 years before we've even talked to him because now ChatGPT and Claude can do these same types of documents. Most of what we needed, a paralegal was drafting them, to start with. It wasn't the attorney. And these documents are essentially on file for these guys. They just modify some of the words and language. So that's what ChatGPT and these other tools can do for us. And it saves us a ton of time and money. But are we part of the problem? Yeah. Yeah, we're not using that attorney. So how many attorneys are seeing those numbers shrink? I bet you it's a pretty surprising number. I bet there's a surprising number of attorneys today that would say, yeah, we used to get a ton of calls and emails and clients that would use us for these things just to draft this document. Hardly ever get those anymore. Now it's like people still need us to litigate. They need us to go after bigger, complex cases. But when business owners and individuals just need a legal document, how many of them are contacting us anymore to pay, 300 to 450 an hour and up? Very few, very few. That's my guess. But it's not long before you're going to see so many industries that these kids are graduating thinking they're going into or were a couple years ago. Now they're hearing from everywhere these places aren't hiring. They're just not hiring people to do these jobs right now. And even if they are, you have to be the best of the best, 0.01%, because otherwise it's going to go to an AI tool. It's going to go to a bot. So yeah, a little bit terrifying, and then think of compounding on top of that. You're saying adults are getting out of college, finally, that degree in hand. And where are they going? Housing is such exorbitant prices right now for housing. Gas prices are up. Food prices are up. Everything is more expensive. It's obnoxious. So now they're looking at it going, I got this degree that I can't use that I thought I was going to be able to use. So I'm not going to be able to make the money I thought I'd be able to make. Now what do I do? So it's a crazy time. I'm ranting. I'm going on and on. I'm sorry, but I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this? I'll see you next time.